Hello, my friends. Shabbat Shalom. Today is Friday and it's Shabbat all over the world. Maybe different time due to the timetable around the world, but still it's the end of the week, and on the seventh day God rested. But that was from creation. They counted from creation. So today is another day, a new day, which have come to its end. And now the new day is starting up again before the end of the former. So when you start a new day with a Jewish timetable, they start with having some, they are awake, they don't sleep while going into the new day. They are, the new day is when the sun is setting, the evening. And now the sun have set in the far north during the summertime. Close short time gap of some weeks. The sun will never set. So unfortunate for them, they will not have Shabbat, or it's Shabbat all the day. So today is wine, today is lachaim. So no turmoil talk, but we can touch on a subject. To touch on a subject is not that bad. See, there are some different cultures. Depends where you are, at what time, in which time period. So this time around is you see, the Norwegian culture here in Norway. Or wherever a Norwegian is, he is not commonly used to debates. Debate is for judges to do their things, but in according to the Jewish tradition, they have so many. Like the Mishnah, Talmud is all about judging. It's not only judging, but it's debating. The debates and disputes and the contradictory arguments is their way of life, so to say. No wonder why the Jewish have achieved so much, because of their ability to undergo debates. Here in Norway, the culture is more or less rejecting the debate concept, the dispute concept. When I wrote a letter to my the leaders in this church I was attending back as a member back in those times, I wrote a letter which was according to some issues that they wrote back a answer, so to say. They thought it was an answer, but I was not happy with the answer, so I returned a reply. I replied that because it's for me it's kind of common, it's kind of normal that you have debates, disputes, and different kind of angle. You have different angles on a subject. You see, we have this culture of honoring the professors, the lecturers, the teachers, the intelligentsia, and those that seem to have this theoretical understanding, the theoretical, not understanding per se, but it's theoretical knowledge that they have it's kind of a license to kill, so to say. This intellectual degree of difference have some faults to it, and I will explain here how that is a fault, because it's the culture here. When you debate, when you discuss, when you dispute, and so on, it's regarded as something very negative. But in different settings, they in fact say that the roof here is so high. In other words, the acceptance of disagreements are so high here that you can say what you like and dispute whoever you like, and there should be no limit. And that is the idea, which they are not following to the letter, not even to the intention, not even to the the smallest parts or bits of it, because the minute you dispute a person, that's the minute he will be a firecracker. He will be an atom bomb. He will be a missile or rocket or missiles against you, opposing him, and so on. So when I wrote this letter back as a reply, they thought the answer was as this, that they thought they had given me an answer, which I was just I was shocked, because that was a kind of an answer that who are they talking to? Are they talking to children? Do you think for real that I take anything for granted, and you are the sole entity that have all the answers, which I'm longing for desperately to achieve myself? No, you are not. You are just a bogus. You are just a mediocre. That kind of answer that was given to me back then. It was kind of arrogance. It was kind of obvious arrogancy to that kind of answer. Who would in their right mind give an answer like that? So I disputed them. I replied in a very strong way. I put verbs in my mouth, and here that kind of behavior is not wanted at all. So if you have this in your own culture, I know that in Kenya the elders have the last word. Maybe it's right in some regards. I believe that the elders have their wisdom. They have the track record. They have the values. They have the ingredients. They have the level and insight of things. But that doesn't give them any authority to give anyone a more limited chance of dispute. because it's according to the Jewish idea that disputes is made by those that ask questions, and every Shabbat, every Pesach, it's kind of the last born is asking their father or whoever that is the major questions. It's kind of repeating all over again the questions. I hope that it's kind of a profound question, that it's not just formally like that. I hope maybe it's like a formal routine, but it should be deep-rooted in some confusion, some deep-rooted, what you can call it, deep-rooted anxiety about how can I believe, how can I approach this issue so I can understand it much better, so I can get to grips with that subject, so I can have a insightful understanding. So when people take that for granted, that you should just know, you should just believe, because I am the teacher, I am the oldest, I am the professor, I am this and I am that. That is kind of an arrogancy that you wouldn't like even to meet yourself. Would that be nice? No. So if you can't tolerate, as a grown-up, if you are a grown-up, if you are a lecturer, scholar, if you are a teacher, if you are a PhD, if you are a professor, if you are this and that, you should be obviously very aware that along the line of scientific facts or scientific arguments, there are so hard debates regarding topics. So when you are into a subject like time, I have been debating myself about time. We don't go into that, but that is a kind of a topic of itself. And if you can't hold up an argument is kind of a saying something rational and understandable to a point that you underline the point you are making. So when you can in a verbally way expose or convey a message of that's why I am taking it for that, or that's why I believe that to be true. That kind of argument is kind of very necessary in order to convey the idea of things. And if you can't, if the truth is by the professor, the this and that by name or so, that well-known professor, that well-known scientist, that is just bogus. That is fake. That is to cheat yourself around, because this and that said whenever it was said, and how can you know that is the true fact? When I am referring to something, I have kind of a religious approach to it. I don't go so deep myself as they did, but I believe it to be true. Like the scientist about the origin of species, that is kind of you have one tenth of a, you have so little percent of those that really knows evolution, theory of evolution, and even less that really know the theory of creation. So there are so many leftists that deny the disputes, the arguments, the different layers of issues, the different angles of an argument. So you can just stop and wonder, why are they calling themselves professor, lecturers, scholars, and so on, when they are not up to any disputes? I have been disputing on my own level with those people, and I will say 80 or 90%. I don't count. I don't really do the math, but approximately those that reply me in a way that is so arrogant, that is so, if you believe it to be different than us, you are just brain dead. You are idiot. You are lame. You have no understanding. You have no really understanding and knowledge about who said what and at what time, in which subject. So when we are into that kind of topic, I am loving it, because I meet a lot of leftists that can't handle any disputes. And also, according to Israel and Palestine, the leftists are there too. They hold the narrative. They are so obsessed by their own opinion that they exclude everybody but me. I will include even them. But they will exclude you from the same narrative if you don't have the same narrative that them. See, so that is kind of how things go in the leftist camp. The camp of the leftists. They are so sick. They are so it's kind of a group that exclude every inch of differences that you may have. So the debate have gone from a kind of, why are you disputing us? We are the one that you wrote the letter to. So now you dispute the one that you wrote the letter to, yes, to what do you call the people that are just the habit of debating, we call it Krang Reboon, or we have a different word for it. Those that are is like quarrelsome, a quarrelsome person. But yes, I don't regard quarrelsome persons bad, because it's just a label from those that are so arrogant that they can't handle any disputes. That's my take on that. If you call some people quarrelsome, that's when you are the arrogant. You are the besserwisser. You are the words that I wouldn't even invent, because of how bad that is. So the quarrelsome are welcome to my party. They are here. If they tire me, I will just say I'm not into it. Sorry, I I will log off. But and it is good. It's good because you get some resistance that you are not up to, that people need to be up to. So the Jewish have this culture of arguments. And Talmud have this book of disputes. Different angles of the same topic. And it's kind of a polar opposite arguments. It's kind of a valuing the polar opposites. And if we look at God in the way that we can, it's kind of he is kind of opposite. Some he heals, and some he don't. Some he made rich, some he don't. Some grows fat, some grows thin. He is kind of a self-contradictory entity. So that's how I got to find out in some way that God is in the mist, God is in the void. You can't know, but after a time you will know. It's kind of something unknown that is going to something known, and that's a clarity in itself. When you go from something very unknown, then you develop into some small or great understanding of things. So the elders today should be more patient with them students, because there are tasks for the students to have in order to understand different layers of a topic. So when we look at God, as we believe that is true, we have one single eye to it. We see it as something one. But God have so many radiations, so many lights to it. If you can look at it in a room where the disco dancers are enjoying themselves, I don't do that so much. Not at all. In fact, I feel kind of what planet is this circling around with all the lights and effects? And you see all the room is lit up with these spots of light. But the origin of that light is from this ball that is hanging from the roof. And that is, I think, it's an explanation or explanatory way to understand God, because God shows himself in different phases, different lights, different hotspots, different enlightenments. So the God, we can look at it as the reflection we see. We can only see so much as reflections. So the God is that kind of a signal that is portrayed through everything, that gives light, gives understanding. So my friend, when you look at a topic, to be factual, the way you see it, you should understand there are different multitudes of understanding of that topic. That's why we call it debate, disputes, arguments, and some have more insight in some subject topics than me. It doesn't mean that I don't know, but it means that someone have taking a longer time, taking a longer look on that kind of subject. And the good thing about that is they broaden their perspective. They can see further on to the effects of things, the nature of things. When you see the effects of things, then you see the nature of itself. And that's very educated. That is very. We get to sit at the students' place. We should be there more often than to teach the students. That we sit on the student's seat in order to listen and learn. And I believe that more open and vocal you can be, the more you will be understanding. You can't just refer to a book all the time. That's kind of a religious act. That's kind of a biblical ceremony when you do that. But when you go into things by your own, and when you do that, you are brave enough to take the task, to explore yourself. And some say that every topic that you study, it's a study of yourself. It's kind of, how can we see things? That's a study of ourselves. We should know that everything that we are observing is just a reflection of our inner qualities, inner attributes. So, my friends, it's kind of a creation of itself, that when we come to understanding, it becomes logical, it becomes rational. And when you hear the disputes, you need to go over it again. It's kind of a repeating service, but it's good when you can repeat what you think you know. Because when I've been educated man for many years, I will touch on something that refers to that kind of education. And then it gives a broader perspective. Like something you are wondering about, how amazing things is. So that is a creation of itself. When things get enlightened, when my mind is enlightened, I can talk about it. And I thought to myself a long time ago that I can't do this because it's kind of, you need to have some school and education and all this equipment that one needs. But to broaden your mind, you just need a humbleness. As I was talking some days ago, some humility, some bravery, some belief to understand that you are not infinite, you are limited. So I wish you Shabbat Shalom, my friends. This was just a small exposure of things. We need to broaden our perspective. We need to go into deep matter. Not only to judge, but look at it as it is, without judging, without defined idea. You need to have some openness, so you can get more into details, more into broader perspective, more into the idea of things. So, my friends, I wish you a good Shabbat and a good rest, and we will see next time when we get the opportunity. May Hashem, may God bless you all, my friends.